The alarm blared through my skull like a jackhammer, yanking me from a dreamless sleep. I fumbled for my neural link, squinting at the emergency broadcast flooding every channel. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill. Unknown vessels have entered the solar system. All military personnel report to your designated stations immediately. My stomach dropped. After years of false alarms and conspiracy theories, it was finally happening. First contact. I'm Hamilton McNeilson Hammy to my squad mates, and in that moment, my quiet retirement went up in smoke. 6 years since I'd hung up my Marine armor, and now the Corps was calling me back. As I scrambled into my old uniform, my newsfeed exploded with updates. The alien ships had bypassed Jupiter's defense grid like it wasn't even there. Hours later, our Martian colonies went dark. By the time I reached headquarters, the moon had fallen silent too. The streets were chaos, civilians running for the nearest bunkers, military vehicles screaming past. I pushed through the panicked crowd, flashing my reactivation code at the HQ gates. Inside, it was organized pandemonium. Grizzled vets like me stood shoulder to shoulder with wide-eyed recruits, all of us watching the holoscreens with grim fascination. Fleet Master General Paulson's weathered face appeared, his expression grave. At 0600 hours, unknown alien vessels entered our solar system. At 0945, they destroyed our outposts on Mars. At 1130, they obliterated our lunar bases. She paused, letting the weight of her words sink in. Make no mistake, this is an invasion, and Earth is next. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. I felt a tap on my shoulder and turned to see Captain Rojas, my old company. Welcome back to the fight, Hammy, she said, her smile not quite reaching her eyes. Hope you haven't gone soft. I snorted. Soft? I've been aching for some action. Where do you need me, Cap? She handed me a data pad. You're with the 15th Mixed Arm. We're throwing together everything we've got: ground pounders, flyboys, naval assets, you name it. It ain't pretty, but it's all we've got. I scrolled through the unit roster, eyebrows rising. She wasn't kidding, it was a hodgepodge of specialties crammed into one desperate fighting force. Piecemeal, I muttered. What's that? McNeilson Rojas asked sharply. I looked up, meeting her gaze. Nothing, Cap, just thinking out loud. When do we deploy? A tremor ran through the building, and the lights flickered. We all looked up instinctively, knowing what it meant. The alien ships had entered orbit. Rojas's voice was steel. We deploy now, Marine. Move out. As we rushed to our stations, I couldn't shake a nagging thought. Our defenses were scattered, improvised piecemeal, just like I'd said. But maybe, just maybe, that would be our strength. These aliens had no idea what they were in for. The sky burned. From my vantage point in the New Andes defense station, I watched as alien ships rained hell on our cities. Their energy weapons carved glowing furrows across the landscape, while our own missiles streaked upwards in fiery retaliation. McNeilson. Status report. Captain Rogas's voice crackled through my comms. I tore my eyes from the apocalyptic scene and checked our tactical display. Orbital platforms Alpha through Delta are engaging, boss. Effectiveness limited. Ground-based ion cannons are coming online, but the aliens are staying just out of optimal range. A string of curses filled the channel. What about our birds? As if on cue, a squadron of Raptor-class fighters screamed overhead, afterburners glowing as they climbed to meet the alien threat. Air Force is giving them hell, Cap, I reported, allowing myself a grim smile. But for every ship we take down, 3 more seem to appear. The station rocked as a near miss from an alien destroyer lit up our shields. Warning klaxons blared, and for a moment I was back in my first deployment, a green kid terrified of dying on some godforsaken moon of Jupiter. I pushed the memory aside. No time for fear now. Incoming transmission, our comms officer shouted. It's the aliens. A harsh, guttural voice filled the command center, the words oddly accented but unmistakably English. Humans, your resistance is futile. Your defenses are piecemeal and primitive. Surrender now, and we may spare your species. Silence fell over the station. Then, to my surprise, Captain Rogas laughed. It wasn't a pleasant sound. "Piecemeal, are we?" she snarled. "McNeilson, you're with me. Time to show these bastards what Earthers can do." We sprinted to the hangar bay, where a squad of power-armored Marines waited. As I sealed my helmet, Rojas outlined the plan. "Intel suggests the aliens are deploying ground forces to secure key infrastructure. We're going to give them a warm welcome." The dropship's engines roared to life, and we rocketed into the war-torn sky. As we descended towards Mexico City, I got my first good look at our enemy. They were not what I expected. Vaguely insectoid, but with an unsettling, almost mechanical precision to their movements. Their weapons were like nothing I'd ever seen, pulsing with an eerie green light. We hit the ground hard, and all hell broke loose. The aliens had superior tech, no doubt about it. But we had something they didn't: desperation, ingenuity, and a stubborn refusal to die quietly. I watched a Marine go down under alien fire, only to have his suit's fail-safe detonate, taking out a whole cluster of the invaders. A local militia group, armed with nothing but outdated pulse rifles, managed to flank and decimate an alien squad. And there was Rojas, a one-woman army, her precision strikes and tactical genius turning the tide of the battle. As the fighting raged, a realization dawned on me. The aliens had called our defenses piecemeal, but they'd missed the point entirely. Our strength wasn't in uniformity, but in our diversity. Each piece of our defense was adapting, improvising, finding new ways to hurt the enemy. We weren't just a military, we were humanity itself, in all its chaotic, resilient glory. As I charged an alien position, energy bolts sizzling past my armor, I allowed myself a fierce grin. These invaders had no idea what they'd gotten themselves into. The real fight was just beginning. The command center hummed with tension. Holograms flickered, showing battles raging across the globe. I stood before the assembled brass, my armor still scorched from our last skirmish. "With all due respect, sirs," I said, my voice hoarse from days of combat, "we're thinking about this all wrong." Master General Paulson raised an eyebrow. "Explain yourself, Major McNeilson." I took a deep breath. "The aliens called our defenses piecemeal. They meant it as an insult, but it's actually our greatest strength. We need to lean into it hard." Murmurs rippled through the room. I plowed ahead, calling up tactical displays. "Look here," I pointed to a cluster of alien ships. "They're used to facing unified opposition. But we've got a mishmash of technologies, tactics, and troops that they can't predict. We need to coordinate all our assets to create chaos they can't compute." Captain Rogas, now colonel after her heroics in Mexico City, nodded slowly. "A symphony of disorder." "Exactly," I grinned. "Orbital platforms provide cover fire while stealth subs launch imps. Air Force fighters run interference for our hackers to breach their systems. Ground troops use guerrilla tactics to draw them into urban centers where civi militias are waiting." The room erupted in discussion. I held my breath, watching the Master General's face. Finally, he nodded. "Make it happen, McNeilson. You're coordinating this op." The next 48 hours were a blur of planning, briefings, and prayers to whatever gods might be listening. Then, we struck. It started in the skies over New Delhi. A swarm of our obsolete drones, piloted remotely by gamers, darted between alien cruisers. The aliens' targeting systems, designed for larger craft, struggled to lock on. In their confusion, they missed the squad of orbital paratroopers dropping onto their hulls, planting breaching charges. Simultaneously, in the Pacific, our last carrier group launched a full strike only for the planes to suddenly veer off, revealing a barrage of hypersonic missiles streaking in from the Chinese mainland. The aliens shifted to defend, leaving them vulnerable to the real threat: a massive EMP blast from a hidden Antarctic base, temporarily crippling their Western fleet. As the aliens reeled, we pushed harder. Every trick, every forgotten weapon, every dirty tactic humanity had ever conceived was thrown at them. Retired tanks rolled out of museums, their guns replaced with prototype plasma cannons. Civilian crop dusters dispersed clouds of nanites that gummed up alien sensors. Hell, I even saw reports of an elderly lady in Kent taking out an alien scout with her antique blunderbuss. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't elegant. But by God, it was working. I stood in the command center, watching the tactical display light up with 1,000 points of resistance. For the first time since the invasion began, I allowed myself to feel a glimmer of hope. Then an alert flashed. We'd located the alien flagship, the nerve center of their entire invasion force. I keyed my comm, grinning despite my exhaustion. "Colonel Rogas, remember that crazy idea we discussed? I think it's time." Her reply was immediate. "I'll prep the team. Try not to die, Hammy." As I headed for the hangar, my mind raced. We were about to attempt the most audacious operation in human history. If it worked, we might just win this war. If it didn't, well, there wouldn't be much of humanity left to mourn us. But that's the thing about us humans. When our backs are against the wall, when all seems lost, that's when we're at our most dangerous. And I had a feeling the aliens were about to learn that lesson the hard way. The assault shuttle bucked and weaved through a maelstrom of energy beams and debris. Inside, I gripped my seat, knuckles white beneath my armor. Colonel Rogas sat across from me, her face a mask of determination. Our target loomed ahead, the alien flagship, a behemoth of impossible geometry that hurt the eyes to look at directly. Remember, I shouted over the roar of our failing stealth systems, "We only get one shot at this." Rogas nodded grimly. "Then let's make it count, Hammy." Our pilot, a washed-up stunt flyer with more bravado than sense, cackled over the comms. "Hang on to your butts, folks. This is going to be tight." The shuttle screamed towards a yawning hangar bay, alien fighters in hot pursuit. At the last second, we rolled, scraping through the opening with inches to spare. We skidded across the deck in a shower of sparks, crashing into a stack of what looked unsettlingly like cocoons. "Go, go, go," Rogas bellowed. We burst from the wreckage, a motley crew of Earth's finest. Marines in cutting-edge power armor fought alongside hackers wielding cobbled-together tech. A team of parkour experts from Rio moved with inhuman agility, while a pair of Gurkhas wielded their kukris with terrifying efficiency. The aliens were caught off guard, clearly not expecting a direct assault on their command ship. We pushed deeper into the vessel, our odd mix of skills and tech keeping the enemy off balance. I fired my rifle, a prototype coil gun reverse-engineered from salvaged alien tech, and watched with grim satisfaction as it punched clean through an alien warrior's carapace. McNeilson Rojas called out, "We need that intel. Get to the central core." I nodded, gesturing to my team. We fought our way through twisting corridors that seemed to defy Euclidean geometry, the ship itself almost a living thing trying to repel us. Finally, we reached what had to be the command center. A massive, pulsing organ dominated the room, tendrils of light connecting it to various stations. "Cover me," I ordered, approaching the central interface. I pulled out our secret weapon, a neural interface spike, designed by a collaboration of the world's top AI researchers and a teenage savant from Lagos. With a silent prayer, I jammed it into the alien tech. Pain exploded behind my eyes as alien data flooded my mind. I saw star maps, battle plans, the history of a species driven to conquer by a dying sun. And I saw their weakness. Through the haze of agony, I relayed the crucial information to Earth Command. Our forces, battered but unbroken, launched a coordinated assault leveraging everything we'd learned. We'd thought the aliens unbeatable, but now we could see the flaws in their strategies, the limitations of their vaunted technology. They'd never faced a species as diverse and adaptable as humanity, and it showed. As I staggered back from the interface, the ship rocked with explosions. Rogas steadied me, concern in her eyes. "Did we get it?" she asked. I managed a weak grin. "We got it. Earth's counterattack is underway." A massive tremor ran through the ship. Alarms blared in an alien tongue. "Time to go," Rojas announced. "And Hemi? Hell of a job." As we fought our way back to the hangar bay, commandeering an alien shuttle in the process, I allowed myself to believe that we might actually win this war. The alien shuttle shuddered as we broke through Earth's atmosphere, the view screen awash with the fire of re-entry. As the flames cleared, I got my first glimpse of home since our daring raid on the alien flagship. The sight took my breath away. The skies were filled with the burning husks of alien ships, plummeting to the ground like fallen stars. Our fighters, a mix of sleek jets and hastily weaponized civilian craft, darted between the debris, picking off stragglers. "My God," Rojas whispered beside me. "We did it." As we approached the temporary UN headquarters in the ruins of Geneva, the true scale of our victory became clear. The alien invasion force was in full retreat, their once mighty armada reduced to a scattered few desperately fleeing the solar system. We landed to a hero's welcome. Master General Paulson himself was there to greet us, his usually stoic face breaking into a rare smile. "Major McNeilson, Colonel Rojas," he said, saluting. "Your actions turned the tide. The intel you secured allowed us to exploit critical weaknesses in the alien fleet. Humanity owes you a debt we can never repay." I wanted to feel elated, but the weight of all we'd lost tempered my joy. "What's the damage, Master General?" His face grew somber. "Severe. We've lost over 1 billion lives, and much of our infrastructure is in ruins. Mars and Luna are gone." But he straightened, a fierce pride in his eyes. "We survived. We won." The next few months were a whirlwind. I found myself promoted to colonel, shuttled from one debriefing to another, hailed as a hero in 100 languages. But amidst the chaos of reconstruction, one moment stands out. I stood atop the partially rebuilt Eiffel Tower, gazing out over a Paris scarred but unbowed. Rojas joined me, now General Rojas, her new stars glinting in the sunset. "Penny for your thoughts, Hammy," she asked. I considered for a moment. "I'm thinking about that word. Piecemeal, they really had no idea what they were up against, did they?" She chuckled. "No, they didn't. They saw our diversity as weakness, our adaptability as chaos. They never understood that it's the core of who we are." I nodded, watching as crews below integrated salvaged alien tech into the city's power grid. "So what now? We've got their technology, their star maps. The galaxy's open to us." Rojas's face turned serious. "Now we prepare. There might be more out there like them. But next time, we'll be ready." As if to underscore her point, a test flight of our new hybrid fighters, Earth Ingenuity married to alien tech, roared overhead, their contrails painting the sky. I felt a smile tugging at my lips. "You know, I almost feel sorry for any other aliens who might come knocking." "Oh," Rojas raised an eyebrow. "Yeah," I said, turning to face the future. "They'll have no idea what they're in for. This piecemeal defense of ours? It's going to change the galaxy." As the sun set on a battered but unbroken Earth, I couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. We'd faced extinction and emerged stronger, more united than ever before. Our disparate pieces had come together to form something greater than the sum of its parts. The aliens had called our defenses piecemeal. In the end, that was what saved us all. And whatever challenges awaited humanity among the stars, I knew one thing for certain: we'd face them together, one piece at a time. Thank you so much for listening to this story. I hope you loved it. Please remember to subscribe if you did like it so you can see more videos like this. And please give us a like and a comment too. I'll see you in the next one.